gives you that comfort feeling. So once you start getting into it, there's things about houses that are most vital, and then it works its way to the least important cosmetic end of it. Number one, structure and foundation. There's a couple of foundation types: concrete, slab, pier and beam. There's a couple other aspects there that can be blended together, trailer houses and stuff like that, slab and pier and beam. All these things function with one intent, but they all function differently, especially if they're put together differently. And age has an important factor to look at on that too. Slabs, if a concrete slab shouldn't have any cracking, you should see levelness. You may see cracking on the outside wall sometimes, but it doesn't always mean that there's a foundation issue. A foundation issue will usually have diagonal and shear cracks on the inside walls. Materials that don't flex and move, like wood will take a little bit of movement, but sheetrock won't, tile won't. If you have tile showers and you're seeing cracks in corners or loose tiles, that might get back down to a foundation issue more so than anything else. Pier and beam homes, these older homes, they can have some cracking. A pier and beam home is nothing more than sitting on little stilts, and when that ground swells or shrinks based on water, that house is always going to flex and move a little bit. So there's a little bit different tolerances that we accept in pier and beam versus concrete foundations. And as you're looking through the house, just things that jump out at you as cracked, clogged, dirty, not taken care of, maintenance, issues like that. It'll help build, like again, it's helping you build, is this house taken care of? Does it have some problems that are questionable? Here's something we offer at Reynolds. If you're ever out showing a house and you don't know, take a picture of it and send it one. We'll help you decide what's going on or help you kind of get a little guidance while you're there. Don't waste your time and wait and find out later if it's something that you don't want to mess with. We'll help you right there on the spot if we can. And that's, we'll do that with any of my inspectors or myself. We've talked about the foundation. We've talked about some of the visual aspects. Has everybody been in real estate for a little bit of time and seen enough houses and shown enough houses to kind of feel what I'm getting into, talking about? Ma'am? A lot of new agents. So the new agents, a lot of what I'm talking about, it can be an overwhelming thing, but when you take this whole bag of everything you're seeing and you kind of sort it out and divide it and put it where it needs to go, it starts making sense. So one thing to do, what I advise about when you're showing houses, is find something that you can relate to, a house, like a used car. You can relate a used car to a used house a lot. And the important things on a used car can be related to the important parts of a used house. Same with new. So if you can relay that type of information and kind of help your customers find what they're looking for, it just makes you better at your job when you know a little bit of background of what you're looking at as well. Again, if you have a question, call us. That's an open-ended statement. I'm serious about that. If we can help, we will. But when we get into the homes themselves and we start doing the inspection part of it, things that may help y'all again is keeping in mind old homes are old homes. They have different aspects of new homes. Codes from today cannot be expected to meet codes back in the past. So it's a fine line, and there's some gray areas there that we have to balance and we come across all the time. For instance, old homes, you're going to find a lot of Federal Pacific electrical panels. You're going to find a lot of homes that's partially been updated on the electrical, some wiring, but you'll still have a lot of open wiring, non-grounded wiring, and issues like that. Doesn't mean it's bad. We just need to call it out, put it in perspective, and make sure they understand it. New homes, it should be new, it should be right. That's just kind of all there is to it. New panel, new wiring, proper wiring, all the safety measures. Same with plumbing. Same with some of the appliances. A lot of new homes today, their appliances changed so much from the past that we run into things we really got to look at different, like dryer vents, oven vents, bathroom vents, termination points. a lot of things like that. And older homes are retrofitted in, so we tend to look at that stuff and say, hey, what's been retrofitted, does it work? And we kind of balance that out, because if you go in and you inspect an old house based on today's standard, you're going to kill it. You're going to scare everybody about every single thing that's there, because an old house, technically, every single bit of it is wrong based on today's standard. And Trek is notorious about saying, hey, if it doesn't meet today's standards, you've got a defect. One shingle can be damaged and you've got to defect the whole roof. It doesn't make sense sometimes. So in some of our communication, we say, hey, this is wrong based on today's standards. However, it's working as intended when it was built. Here's the flaw. It's a minimal issue. It's usually easy to fix and repair. And we try to balance that out so that our report is still a legal form and it's 100% right. But how we communicate those issues and make sure the customer understands them, it puts perspective on it. So they don't get wigged out and we don't cause a lot of problems over something that it just can't be expected to meet. Are there any questions on that? Because I know that comes into play a lot with old homes versus new homes or types of foundations. Yes, ma'am.
So would you and your crew allow some new agents to follow you on an inspection to kind of see what you see?
We would honestly highly recommend that. We not only highly recommend that, I don't know if y'all know Doc Deason. Doc Deason, when he first got into real estate, he followed me around on a couple of jobs, and he told me before it helped him so much. So I think we highly recommend it. I think it's a smart idea. We also recommend customers coming in towards the end of an inspection. I'm not going to lie, we do have a rhythm and pattern and routine that is easy to get distracted on talking and all that. We prefer a good half of the inspection to be by ourselves. But when we're teaching somebody, we want them there the whole time. And we do want the customers coming in towards the end of the inspection so they can answer questions and talk directly to us, because reading a report, even though we try and we put verbiage in there to really clarify things, it can be overwhelming and scary. So talking one-on-one, there's no more valuable information than that. Any other questions on site visits or coming ride-alongs or? Yes, ma'am. You got a question? Oh, you're just smiling.
Me, I was just smiling.
Okay.
But hey, what are you
The glare behind you is got me.
I would love to come and check out the section.
Absolutely. Feel free to. And here's something else. New agents, if you use this, you got a 50% off first time for your customers. So we want to help hook you up with your customers. We want to earn your trust. We don't want to buy it. We're not going to pay to play. We're not going to buy our way into here and do any of that. But what we want to do is for you to look at us as a trusting source to help you succeed in your path to be an agent and help you hopefully like us enough to push a good company to your customers to help take care of your customers. Yes, ma'am.
I think one thing that new agents need to do is when they first go out to a client, kind of remind them if they're looking at existing homes and the age that there's going to be things that are not to today's standards.
Yes,
So that way they're not in shock when they have an inspection.
That